Okay, so I had this question, and the question was, imagine if you had 100 shape 3D nodes, could be any of the nodes really. Is there a way to batch add a node after each one of these nodes? Ideally 99 of these would be instances of the first one, so I'm not sure whether that means to have like some kind of expression, so if there was information in this node, then it just kind of is instance across all of these. I mean, that's something that can be put in, but just for now we're going to look at a way that we can kind of iterate over all these nodes and create a note next to the position of each one of these nodes. So I've just arranged some transform nodes, but you can do this on any type of node really. Okay, so let me just delete all these for now. I'm going to leave these transform nodes in place, but what I might do is I might just rearrange the positions just slightly different. It doesn't matter where they are, because you're going to see in a second like how we're going to add these notes in. So if I just pull this up here, I'm just going to explain what we're going to do. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to iterate over all these nodes. So we need to store all the nodes in memory. So we're going to do that based on a selection. There's lots of different ways you could do this, but we're going to have this recognize a selection of nodes that we have. Those are going to be stored in like what would be like a list or an array, and then we're going to iterate over each one of the nodes, and every time we iterate we're going to find the position of each one of these nodes, and then we're going to create a note, and we're just going to offset that position slightly and then introduce the note there. And essentially what happens is this is going over a loop, a for loop, so it's going to do that for this one, find the next one, add the note, find the next one, add the note, and so on. Okay, so you'll see how this works. So if I just bring up the code here, I'm just going to explain how this works. So as I mentioned before, we've got this variable here, so we're declaring this variable called tools, comp get tool list equals true. Okay, so essentially what this is going to do is this is going to look at the comp and then find the selection of tools and put all those selection of tools into this local variable here. Okay, then what it's going to do is it's going to iterate over each one of the tools. So we're declaring a for loop here. Okay, so we've got I, which we don't need to worry about too much, but tool is essentially the current tool on the iteration. So tools is the collection of the full selection, and tool is the current iteration of the loop. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're declaring another local variable here, which is x and y, and all that's doing is that's just getting the position of the current node. Okay, so we're looking at the tool, the current tool on that iteration of the loop, say this one, and we're saying, okay, whereabouts is this in the flow? Okay, and then we're just storing the x position and the y position of where this is on the flow. Right, then what we're doing is we're adding a new tool, so we're adding this note node in there, and then we're writing the position of where that should be. So we're going to write that to the same x position and the same y position plus 2, and all that's going to do is that's just going to offset y a little bit, so it's going to place the node just below where these are here. Okay, so you'll see if I just select all this text and I'll just copy it, Control C, load up the console there, just paste it in here. Well, actually what we need to do is need to select all these nodes first to put those in memory. Click here, paste, drop these in, and you can see what it's doing is it's iterating over each one. So again, just to go over this code again, what it's doing is it's storing the full selection of nodes, so it's finding everything that's selected, then it's going to iterate over each one at a time. Okay, so it's going to go to the first one here, it's going to say, okay, whereabouts are you in the flow, what's your x, what's your y position. Okay, it's going to read those in, and then it's going to write or create this note and put it in the same position as this, but offset a little bit, and you can control that. Obviously you can offset these wherever you need them to be, and then it's going to go to the next one, create it, offset it, next one, create it, offset it, and so on. Okay, so hopefully this gives you a bit of a foundation of how you can go about doing this. And again, if you want to link all these together, you'd probably do that with an expression. So one way you could probably do that is if it's the first note we're not going to add the expression, but then if it's like, say, note 2 onwards, you know, if it's greater than note 1, then what you could do is add the expression and just read the information from note 1, or however you want to kind of do that. And then so essentially, say all these here would have the same expression but reading the information from note 1. Okay, so hopefully that helps.